What's up, everybody? Let's continue the series, Boss's Lore. Rennala is a shard-bearer who is encountered in Academy of Raya Lucaria. While this encounter is not required to advance the story, Rennala must be defeated to unlock Moonlight Altar, the ability to respec, and a certain ending. As a young astrologer who gazed at the night sky and always chased the stars, Rennala would encounter an enchanting full moon that would one day bewitch the Academy of Raya Lucaria. In her youth, she was a prominent champion who charmed the Academy with her lunar magic, becoming its master. She established the House of Caria as royalty and also led the Glintstone Knights. These Carian knights were heroes of the highest honors, anointed by the Lunar Queen, and despite numbering fewer than 20, their power made them a match for even the champions of gold in battle. After Queen Marika the Eternal established her, New Age of the Erdtree, she dispatched a champion known as Radagon to lead her armies against Liurnia of the Lakes. Radagon fought 2 Liurnian wars against Rennala and the Academy, both of which saw no clear victor. Instead, Radagon repented his territorial aggressions by cleansing himself with celestial dew and swore his love to Rennala. They married at the Church of Vows, uniting the houses of the Erdtree and the Moon. Rennala would gift Radagon with a great sword, bestowed by a Carian queen upon her spouse to honor long-standing tradition. Together, they had 3 children, Radan, Ricard, and Rani. After Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, was hounded from the lands between, Radagon left Rennala's side to become the second husband and king consort of Queen Marika, and received the title of Second Elden Lord. Queen Marika made Radagon's and Rennala's children her demigod stepchildren. When Radagon departed, he gifted Rennala the amber egg containing the great rune of the unborn. When Radagon left, Rennala's heart left with him. Realizing their heartbroken queen was no champion at all, the Academy rebelled against the Carian royal family, and Rennala would find herself under the assault of her own students, who would eventually lock her away in the Grand Library. She would slowly lose her mind and ended up devoting herself to the grim art of reincarnation, clutching the amber egg left to her by Radagon. She would use it on juvenile scholars found around her, calling them her sweetings, continuously rebirthing them in an imperfect process which would leave their memories fading into oblivion. The children born anew by Rennala were all frail and short-lived, imperfect beings, each and all. The Tarnished gains entry to the Academy of Raya Lucaria in search of the great rune contained within, Rennala's amber egg. After fighting their way through the Academy, they encounter Rennala in the Grand Library, hovering in the air and clutching her egg. The Tarnished fights their way through the juvenile scholars, halting the protective spell cast on the queen by their song. Before they can kill the Carian queen, however, they are interrupted by the voice of Rani, and an image of Rennala as she was long ago appears before them. The Tarnished does battle with the illusory Rennala in a moonlit sea, eventually defeating her and claiming her great rune. Rennala is left alive, sitting in her chair in the middle of the library, still clutching her egg. Rennala will float around the room, encased in a golden sphere which prevents her from taking damage. She will not contribute directly to the fight very often, instead relying on the juvenile scholars who will use lunges, fire breath, and telekinesis to attack the player. One of the juvenile scholars is singing. They can be spotted by the golden aura they emit, plus the enchanted purple books they telekinetically throw at you, and will get louder as the player gets closer. If this scholar is hit at least once, it does not need to be killed. Another will start singing instead. Disrupt 3 singing scholars to cause Rennala's sphere to break, dropping her to the ground and allowing the player to inflict damage. While Rennala is downed, all of the juvenile scholars stop attacking you, so you'll have a free window of opportunity to attack. After a few seconds, she will emit a golden explosion and begin floating again with her protective sphere restored. Repeat the process of hitting the singing scholars several times for further opportunities to inflict damage on Rennala. Periodically, she will summon new scholars to replace those who have been killed. Scholars will often hide behind the bookshelves that line the room. The gaps between bookshelves often have chandeliers above them, which will fall if the player stands beneath them or passes under them. Through both phases, Rennala is fairly resistant to magic damage and more vulnerable to physical damage. After reducing Rennala's health to 0, a cutscene will play. The arena will change to a large, open, watery plain, and Rennala will engage the player directly with a full health bar. Phase 1 takes place in a circular room with an open inner area and a more narrow outer area, divided by bookcases. The majority of the juvenile scholars congregate in the inner arena. However, a few can be found hiding behind the bookcases. They can use their telekinetic abilities on the clutter in the area, such as the astrolabes, which they can throw at the player. Chandeliers hang from the ceiling and may fall if the player stands underneath them. Phase 2 takes place in a large, open area with no obstacles or clutter. The space is useful for moving away from Rennala's homing attacks, as there is nothing to get stuck on or blocked in by, as well as for separating Rennala from her summoned allies. After defeating her, Rennala becomes an NPC, remaining in the library where she was fought in Phase 1. As an NPC, she offers 2 services. Rebirth allows the player to reallocate levels to different stats at the cost of a larval tear, while Cosmetics allows the player to alter their character's appearance, which is the same function that the mirror in Round Table Hold has. And here we finish. I wish you like the video. Don't forget the like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Thou, is it thy wish to be born anew? To become a sweeting, reborn of my beloved egg?